Sea Viper. To talk about Sea Viper, I think it's first important to make a clarification. I need to talk about Sea Venom. Sea Venom is something I did, basically, a video on a couple of days ago. In any case, Sea Venom is an anti-ship missile that's sort of for medium-sized ships, and it can be launched from a helicopter, and it can strike loads of stuff. It's really impressive. Ironically enough, considering that the idea of Venom coming from a Viper does make sense, Sea Venom is not actually compatible with Sea Viper. So the missile system I'm going to be talking about today, Sea Viper, isn't a missile itself, and it's not compatible with Sea Venom. But were Sea Venom to be developed further, and we're hearing that perhaps it might be developed for onboard surface-to-surface anti-ship capability, then perhaps it would be compatible. But at the moment, no. So, in any case, today we're going to be talking about Sea Viper, and Sea Viper is unusual in that it's not a munition in itself. Often you get these sort of designations, which sound rather impressive, stuff like Sea Venom, Sea Viper, Sea Scepter, and people make the assumption that it is a missile, but the fact of the matter is that it's not. It's a missile system. It's a missile launching system. So Sea Viper is the designation that the Royal Navy's given to the system PAAMS. And with a name like that, one can really understand why they changed the name to Sea Viper, because PAAMS is really dull and difficult to pronounce if you're saying it 50 times in a conversation. Despite its dull name in the beginning, it has incredible capability, and it's largely what gives the power that the Type 45s experience, being guided missile destroyers. It's what gives them that sort of power and what makes them so advanced. So, basically, back in the day, I think during the 80s and 90s, they started the project, and eventually the PAAMS went on to be made through a joint venture firm that was created for its own creation, which is Euro PAAMS, and it's going to get annoying because I'm saying PAAMS a lot. But in any case, this firm, which I'm just going to call Euro PAAMS, is basically a joint venture between Eurosam, Euro SAM, it's a European manufacturer of anti-air missiles, the SAM at the end being surface-to-air missile, and UK AMS, it's a firm comprised of a consortium of GE CMA Marconi, BAE CMA, what else? Siemens, Plessey Systems, and it's now basically, long story short, been fully integrated and merged with MBDA, so it's a subsection of MBDA UK. In any case, Sea Venom is notable for being the British, French, and Italian go-to for both the Horizon class ships for France and Italy, and the Royal Navy's Type 45 destroyer, which is mighty. In any case, because it has been integrated into these different platforms, there are a few variations in the British version and the sort of Franco-Italian version that's integrated on the Horizon class ships. And basically what we see is that the British version uses the Samson MFR. MFR is a multifunction radar, and the Franco-Italian variant uses EMP-AR, which is basically another multifunctional radar. The British variant, again, is basically designated in itself in the division, with the firms that make it as PAAMS-S, and the other one is PAAMS-E, although the Royal Navy, of course, calls it Sea Viper. In any case, and I've said in any case a few times because I'm trying to think about this, it's comprised of a number of components which make it really, really quite potent. So as I've said, it's a launcher system designed to launch various missiles, Aster mainly, which is sort of another creation of Eurosam and Thales, which I think I'll do a video on. I've talked about VLS in another video before, but the component that really defines the Sea Viper is the silver VLS, which is basically a vertical launch system which can incorporate Aster 15, which has a range of about 30 kilometers, and Aster 30 with a range of perhaps up to 120, and now C-Scepter. The entire system itself runs off of basically consoles which use Windows 2000 infrastructure as an operating system, and that may seem really outdated, that may seem really simple, and it may sound particularly odd considering that it is also employed for civilian use, but what this does is it allows for sort of a strong underlying base electronic infrastructure which can really be built upon in order to create more autonomous command and control systems. So the point that we reach with C-Viper, and we're sort of adapting this capability at the moment, is that it can operate automatic CNC systems, operate automatic command and control systems, which is what makes it largely so potent, its ability to operate on its own and its ability to operate multiple things at once, accompanied by brilliant technology. So all of this is really great at launching stuff, all of this infrastructure, the VLS system Silver, as well as basically autonomous command and control systems. But it's also got to basically guide it to its target and get sort of forward information. In regard to launching, the VLS system, which I've said is Silver, I've described it before, but it guides the missile, which is generally Aster, to the target. And basically the way C-Viper does this is through, as I've said, the Samson radar and S1850M, which are both long-range radars, and these radars, they are formidable. Their capability is they're able to basically, and I've said basically a lot again, to track more than 1,000 targets up to a range of about 400 kilometers, I was going to say, that's rather a long way, up to about a range of 400 kilometers. And pretty much in addition to this, if that wasn't capability enough alone, it can track these 1,000 moving targets, and these 1,000 moving targets can be comprised of a lot of stuff, but notably, apparently, stealth technology. So BAE Systems was saying that Samson is really excellent at the detection of sort of stealth aircraft and missiles, which is where I guess you could say C-Viper is future-proofed in a way. And it can shoot down a lot of stuff. It can track UAS, and I'll sort of go through that in a minute, but it's particularly good at tracking stealth technology. And in effect, missile trajectory and materials of 5th, even 6th generation fighters and stealth UAS, the sort of age we're moving into, are going to be able to be combated even better as we upgrade the system and we integrate it on newer ships. So I was saying Type 31 and Type 32 frigates are going to incorporate some variation of the PAAMS of the Silver VLS, which is going to be even better because it's going to have better electronic infrastructure. So C-Viper, the missile, in sort of conjunction with the missiles it launches itself, it can track loads of targets simultaneously, as I said, up to about 1,000. And I touched on this in the Type 45 video. It can track up to 400 kilometers, and its ability to do this and track sort of stealth aircraft, low-altitude attacks, supersonic cruise missiles, fighter aircraft, UAV, all sorts of stuff, makes it particularly good at defending against saturation attacks, because it can target so much stuff from such a long range and then react incredibly quickly. So basically what saturation attack is, it's where one side tries to overwhelm the defending side by launching a lot at it. But the fact of the matter is, if you have basically a 400 kilometer buffer zone with missiles that can launch incredibly quickly, the most advanced radars basically that exist in the modern day that can detect up to 1,000 potential threats, then you're not really getting past that area. And something that also makes it so powerful, something that the Silver VLS basically brings to the table, is that it can launch up to 8 missiles in under 10 seconds, meaning that at full force, it can launch up to 16 missiles at once into the air, and it can basically guide 16 missiles simultaneously to their individual targets. It can launch all of its missiles in 20 seconds, meaning that if you're approaching from a 400-kilometer range and you have been spotted, and there is ample time to get into that 120-kilometer area that Aster 30 can track you, or perhaps even C-Scepter, you are not getting very far, because if this thing can launch 16 missiles and, let's say, hopefully hit most of its shots within 120 kilometers, and it can have 16 up in the air simultaneously and then launch after that, then you will have to have an overwhelmingly saturated force in order to actually overwhelm the system. And it can react quickly, it can react well, it can react at long range. And that's all you really need. Threats are neutralized really, really well. So it's perfectly functional, and that's what makes the Type 45 really, very powerful. I think the thing with Sea Viper is that people often underestimate sort of how powerful it can be. If one has Aster 15, C-Scepter, and Aster 30, and the inventions that are sort of being, created currently, future technologies that can be integrated into the system or even advance the system, missiles that make it even more potent with a longer range that can really maximize that 400-kilometer forward intelligence ability. And let's say, you can even increase the ability to launch the already incredible 16 missiles at 16 targets in 20 seconds individually. And, they're not taking too long to reach their target, considering the speed of these missiles, and they engage them from 120 kilometers away, all the way until they basically have you, the enemy, in range. And with a number of ships working in unison within a strike group, the chances of successful attack, they drop significantly. So basically, it nullifies nearly all and sort of larger scale air threats that could potentially threaten any strike group. And that is really the role of the destroyer. That's largely what makes Type 45 so potent, is its Sea Viper system. And it's currently even undergoing improvement to make it compatible with the sort of systems that are coming in that can destroy, basically, ballistic missiles. And that's going to make it even more powerful. So it's a really powerful bit of infrastructure, despite the fact it's not an actual munition in its own right. It's essential to guiding these munitions to where they need to go. And it's just hugely powerful in actually getting good hits in operating in all-weather environments and protecting the fleet, in protecting the strike group that it's a part of. And that's all you really need. Sea Viper is brilliant. It's potent and it's perfectly functional, and I think I'm going to leave it there. Enough said.